necessarily calling them out. It's just telling them that I'm ready for whoever. I've been saying that for years now. It's not up to me, you know. But everybody want to know who's the next guy that Terence Crawford want to fight. I fight anybody. It don't matter who it is.
Why did you go left-handed the whole fight?
Because that's just something that I wanted to do. You know, jab with him. I knew that my jab was more superior than his, so I thought that, you know, I have an advantage with the jab contest.
What do you think that proves about your ability to fight any style?
I'm all around. You know, I can go lefty, I can go righty, I can go left all the whole fight, I can go right the whole fight. I'm strong with both hands, so it's a plus for me.
Is anybody that can give you a challenge?
Like I said, I don't know. Before the fight, before this fight, everybody was quoting and tweeting that this is my toughest fight to date. And, you know, like I always said before, I don't know until I get into the ring with him.
I've gotten a chance to talk to Garcia, Freddie Roach. They really like Terence Crawford. They think that's the most qualified choice for that position, the number one. Who do you have there, aside from yourself? Who would you place there at number one?
I had Andre Ward. I mean, it's unclear right now, to be honest with you. Yeah, Terence Crawford, he's a good fighter. He won 2 divisions, but who did he beat at 140? He beat Thomas Delorme, who just lost on the undercard, like to the Cuban kid. Like,
he beat Beltran.
He beat Victor Pasto. That's a credible win, but it's just like he done nothing in the sport. And I don't know who that last guy was, but yeah, he unifies. Let me say all credits to him because he won the fight. But I don't understand boxing. It's like I don't understand boxing, bro. I don't.
He's moving to 147.
Yeah.
Would you welcome him?
Nah, if you beat somebody at 147, wins the title, then I can say he's probably one of the best pound-for-pound fighters. But I thought, you know, I don't know. I've never been pound for pound. Like how?
How's that double standard?
How I've never been pound for pound? I've been a world champion for 6 years straight. Underdog in all my world title fights. Unified the division, went out, won another world title. One of the most, gets the most views, puts the most people in the stadiums. Always talked about fighter, never been pound for pound. Somebody ain't doing it right. Somebody ain't doing it right. Somebody know what they doing, bro. Cause I be seeing no names on the pound for pound list. I'm like, where this guy from? Like, they just probably doing that out of spite. It's like, I don't get the sport of boxing. That's why I'm just give my money, man. You feel me? Hey, it is what it is.
It seems like
I don't know how I've never been pound for pound to be real. It's like, it is what it is.
You were very vocal about
140, 147 probably the 2 hardest divisions, and I became a world champion in both. And I came up like I would have. You know, I bet you if I would beat Thurman, they still wouldn't have put me pound for pound.
Right now, there are those who would think that Terence Crawford is the best fighter in the world. He's probably getting ready to invade welterweight waters. He'll beat Jeff Horn, and then that will give either one of you a situation to really look at. Right now, there seems to be an impasse with certain fighters not being able to fight other fighters. I guess Lou and Steven, this is a question for you too. How difficult would that fight be to make? Because it would definitely be relevant if Terence Crawford were to go and beat Jeff Horn and then become the WBO welterweight champion. I'm sure neither one of you would shy away from that fight. Earl, you've talked about it before, and Keith, I'm sure. What are your thoughts regarding that?
Yeah, you know, he's got a lot of respect for the way he's dominated 140 and the things that he's done with his fights. You know, to me, what really put him on the scene was Gamboa, who really was a smaller guy. And, you know, Gamboa has a little bit of issues. You know, I'm just gonna say hands down. You know, he like to say man down, but Gamboa has an issue. It's called hands down. And you know, Crawford dominated the fight. It was slightly competitive, and then he really just started to take over. And he whacked up a lot of other people, but he ain't whacked up a welterweight yet. You know, you want to talk about making him relevant. He does need to make himself relevant in this division.
You're talking about him, that makes him relevant. Like, I'm not saying he's as good as you, but he's definitely a solid name. He's a name.
He's a 140 undisputed champion. When he can come up in this weight division and pretty much fight anybody in the top 10. He deserves that for the most part, and I understand that. But we are so flooded with talent, he is going to have to make himself relevant. 147 before he gets his hands on us for the most part. You know, he's not simply just going to be able to say some names and get the fights that he wants. He's going to have to walk into the division, put a hurting on some dudes, and make himself relevant. That's how I truly feel. And when he is a relevant 147-pounder, if he is a champion, then, you know, then we can really look at him and negotiate, because, you know, you're saying, you know, I know he's high ranked in the pound-for-pound list and things of that nature, so people think he's the best fighter in the world. You know, like I said, real talk, a lot of people think they know who the real dog is at 147, but we don't know. We don't know. There's work to be done in this division, and it's a beautiful thing that you guys will get to watch it.
Let's also see when offers start getting thrown around, if they ever get thrown around, let's see if they're really like, come and fight Miguel Cotto, or if they're come and sign a promotional contract with Golden Boy Promotions to fight Miguel Cotto. So let's see if Terence Crawford is, let's fight Terence Crawford, or let's see if it's come and sign with Bob Arum if you want to get a chance to fight Terence Crawford, because those are two very different things.
So I got to ask you, probably everyone's asking, you might be getting a little tired of it. Up there, they asked Keith about Bud Crawford coming up to 47. He said he has to prove his relevance before getting, you know, a big fight, a title shot against, you know, the best of the division, the class of the division like you guys. Do you feel the same way as Keith? Do you feel like he has to prove his relevance?
Me personally, man, I don't get out to the politics, man. I really don't care, man, about none of that. I mean, if his name come across the desk and now shoot me, hey, you want to fight Terrence, this and that, this and that, okay, let's do it. I mean, I don't care about the politics. He got to prove this, he got to do this, he got to do that. I mean, his name never came across the Heyman's desk, or Steven Espinosa never asked me about him or anything like that. So, I mean, I'm not worried about it at all. I mean,
you put a lot of stake in the pound-for-pound rankings?
And he's across the pond. Me and Keith Thurman hadn't fought each other yet, and, you know, we're on the same side of the street. So, I mean, till that fight happened, I don't see the Terrence fight happening before me and Keith Thurman happened. I mean, this is a unification fight, so that's why I'm trying to get this fight, you know, out the way, and then, you know, it is what it is, man.
You ever been in with Thurman and Crawford in the amateurs at all?
Nah. I seen Keith Thurman in the amateurs. I ain't seen Terrence.
So we spoke to Danny Garcia. He was out here.
When was he out here?
He was out here about a week ago.
What was he doing? Laker game or something?
No, he came. Brandon Watson had a birthday party, so he was out here.
Oh.
But we asked him about the pound-for-pound thing, and he really brought into question Terence Crawford's resume, which Terence took a lot of offense to.
I heard about that.
Yeah. Were you surprised that happened? And Terence is now being more vocal too. He went on Twitter. He says he's taking anybody 147.
Look, Terence needs to be more vocal and needs to ask Bob Arum for these fights, because honestly, the names that he's fought are champions and great. They're not known, so he doesn't get the credit for it. But they're champions. You know, it takes a lot to be a champion.
Yep.
Even just because the people don't know these champions doesn't mean that they're not worthy or that they're not good victories for Terence. But in order for him to get the big fights, he needs to be vocal. He needs to start calling guys out, and he's doing it. You know, he sees it. He wants to get paid big fights. He wants to get paid the big bucks and get the big fights. He needs them. Well, where are they? They're at 147, managed by a different man. Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't have any relationship with that man, he ain't gonna get him. Or it ain't gonna be his fair deal. He could probably get him if Bob allowed him, but I don't think Bob allows it. That's why he ended up fighting all these other guys that really didn't mean anything, didn't make anything, or didn't help his career as far as, you know, establishing him as a big name. He's a great boxer, great talent. But victories over Dulorme or Molina or Hank Lundy, Felix Diaz don't do much. And then the champions that he beat were not known. That also hurts, you know. Credit to him, because like I said, it takes a lot to be champion, and for him to beat him in the way he does, he's got the skills.
That was too risky for him. Two titles. Yeah. He was IBF and WBA, and he still beat him. So, hey,
I'm telling you, he's got
exactly.
But people just won't give him that credit.
They won't give him that credit, yeah.
Because the guys are not known. So he wants to fight the known guys.
They're not with top rank.
They're not with top rank. That's the problem. That's why they can't give him that. They have to give him other opponents.
And he even tried to get Pacquiao. He couldn't even get him either. So.
Couldn't get Pacquiao.